Here we go again, guys. Part 6 of our Spanish campaign. So now I knew that there is an English army somewhere between the cities of Pamplona, Toledo, and Leon. So I decided to get one more light cavalry. But basically my capital was vulnerable if the English decided to besiege me soon. Here I'm heading out to build a few watchtowers just to be wary of the French movements. And my priest is getting really skilled in the Granada region, and so basically not much to do in this turn. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do a lot in the next few turns offensively. Here, Toledo, it just switched to city and it's getting besieged. Here, Sicily is wanting ceasefire, which I accepted, but the war was renewed really soon. And here the Moors are moving forward with new armies. If you are wondering a bit, this recording is not live. I mean the voice. I'm adding it afterwards this time because I was unable to record it. So I'm just basically trying to explain my thought process the other day when I was recording it. So the English are besieging Toledo and there is nothing I can do from preventing them to assault my capital on the next day, my city. Here I think I lost a turn, but I finally started moving towards the Moors. I had to reduce the tax and recruit more spear militia to keep the public order. Down there I'm trying to skill up my spy, and this time it was successful. But those two armies, if combined, they don't have really strong units, but it's still a lot of units. Here this French army, I don't know why I did not choose to defeat it, but I basically waited for it to leave my territory, kinda. Here I'm heading to besiege Toledo if the English capture it. Now the mentioning watchtowers, I really love building watchtowers. Especially in this case, when I knew that those two castles are going to be attacked pretty soon by lots of troops, probably from more than one faction. Some development, I built some units, trying to recruit some units in the French castles. Here I'm just wondering how to improve my economical and military situation. So now in Bordeaux, pretty much nothing much happens. End of the turn and the French are retreating from my lands. Another new commander, of course I take it. Leon is ready for upgrade, some roads, some development. Everyone hates me, that's expected. So it appears because the English did not assault Toledo, it appears that they don't have infantry. Here I'm getting more and more troops into the main army, which is going south. Increase the tax, which I reduced the previous turn in Lisbon. And yeah, that assassin is not really a problem. Only one skill, so it's fine. And here I decided that it's a good moment to start moving troops from Saragossa to Toulouse, because this French army is retreating and there is not really a danger for me, and I could take some troops from Pamplona if they decide to come back. So here pretty much I would wait for one more turn before starting moving those ballistas from Pamplona to Bordeaux. I have no idea why I did that, besides simply crushing that French army, but yeah. Now in Bordeaux, I head out and I would build a watchtower a little bit right on the border, because there it's most useful. I could see the movement of French armies, and I would return on the next turn to get more troops, I think. I'm really not a fan of those skirmishers, despite that they're really unique to the Iberian Peninsula, but I don't like them. So here I had to move, so apparently I had more turns in hand.
You are not my liege. Your orders, noble one. Of course, my lord.
Yeah, I was unable to move my commander exactly where I wanted. I had to also recruit some heavy spearmen, and I was not able to attack, I think, on this turn, so I had to wait for the next one. Yeah, only cavalry, as expected. Yeah, here my surprise, I'm unable to attack them, so I have to wait for a turn more. And not much of resources, not much of a gold. So I also waited with that army in Cordoba because I couldn't move a lot. We did anyway. Just double checking if there is something else that I can do, maybe one more skill. I thought that the second army is somewhere hidden, but then I realized that they just merged in one big army and the showdown was kinda imminent. Once again with the Moors.
Your orders, noble one. Your orders, noble one. Orders. Begone! You are not my liege! Come and fight me, you coward!
Is there a son in your family you have in mind for me?
Begone! You are not my liege! Come and fight me, you coward! Your Majesty.
I still decided to get my ballistas from Pamplona moving they were not in range of the French army, so it was alright. And
Your orders, noble one.
I'm pretty much ready for the next turn. And here Sicily are coming with another army. It retreated to their ships, but yeah, I know the AI pretty well. They're not going back. So Milan and the Moors are now allies. I also have a border with Milan, so I might be attacked by the Italians too, by this Italian faction too. So I had to push back
We will engage them honorably.
this rebel force, formerly Moorish.
In defeating you, noble infidel. Of course, my lord.
But I decided that it's too big of a risk losing troops, so I decided to just head south and ignore these troops. Finally, building an assassin. First one. Finally, my economy allows it. And
Come and fight me, you coward.
since the French army reached the road, I decided to wait a little. But then on the eastern side, I could continue moving those ballistas. Return to Bordeaux.
Your orders, noble one.
I thought I might attack this French squad, but yeah, you see how the situation will develop in the north.
Imshi, infidel, or face the might of Islam. Your will. Orders.
I was just checking if I can do something else before attacking the English besieging me. Here I reached Sofia only to see that it's controlled by Hungarian troops. And yeah, pretty much we should go fight the Englishmen. Before that, get a market in Valencia.
Your orders, noble one.
I needed to get the capital of the Moors, because after that it opens the road to go capture those African provinces in the south, which also have great trading resources. I think there was the ivory down there, so I could start building a set of merchants for additional income. Here I made a mistake because, yeah, my cardinal started to move from another direction, but then I was going to fix that mistake in the upcoming turns, and finally we had to get the English. The problem was that this heavy cavalry is really dangerous, and I basically have two light cavalries, one commander, and just one stack of spearmen. So I knew that it's going to be difficult. I couldn't face them in the open. I had to find better place for my troops, and I had to also rush my light cavalry reinforcement from the capital, and in any case defeat was not an option, because most likely would mean me losing Toledo and me being unable to recapture it pretty soon. So I decided to move those archers behind. I basically tried to like a lot of times to reposition my archers a little bit without a lot of success, but yeah, I just decided that I'll do that when the battle starts. So me being a noob for a few seconds. And here is the enemy. I placed my spearmen on a high ground between two windmills, and I'm moving my archers basically behind them, but these are peasant archers, they aren't going to do much. Here I decided that I had to enter information with my spearmen. Basically there's special formation where they are in a circle and spears go out in all directions. I mean, it's not really good if you have only one squad, but I had no option. Probably not the best position, because I couldn't protect my archers. But at the moment I wasn't really sure what else can I do. Now, usually AI being dumb and just moving forward until they reach certain points where they all just start attacking in all directions. So here I was hoping to kill as many knights as I can with my archers, with my light cavalry, before engaging in melee. So here I thought that my light cavalry reinforcements has fully arrived, but this was not the case, and you'll see in a few seconds why. Simply sometimes the AI just moves parts of your division a bit not together, but they are split, which is not great when you're trying to run away from cavalry. So here they decided to go in this direction, and they're still forming up. They're still not attacking me with full force. They're still just moving. Here they returned the back on my spearmen. I managed to kill a few cavalrymen. So these are no joke. I mean, I knew they are no joke. I mean, they are heavy cavalry in the end. The most simplest one, but still heavy cavalry. And yeah. So they're still getting into position before they start their attack. So here I made a huge mistake, but it wasn't that costly. I forgot to move my archers from their initial position. Here I realized that that this squad of cavalry is not really the full one. You can see the distance more horses are coming. But it was alright. I could make a little bit more damage. And so here the attack is on. They went straight for my main army. And on this side it's all okay, because they eventually got in fight with my spearmen, and I went to attack them with my commander on the flank, but my archers were fucked up. They were charged uphill, which at least was not as deadly as it could be. Here, this melee cavalry decided to go on the offensive, and since my cavalry squad was not fully in its place, it wasn't able to run quick enough and was caught up by the enemy. Here, the first cavalry squad was defeated. Now I'm rushing my light cavalry in, and with this commander I went on the flank of this double stacked heavy cavalries. Here my spearmen engage once again, but they are in their special formation, so I'm not really afraid for the spearmen. And here I think I made the mistake of letting my commander fight like a lot. He was also caught up in the back from one cavalry squad. At this point I also decided to fully commit my light cavalry into melee, stopped my archers to not do any friendly fire. But unfortunately here my commander died. It was pretty sad because like these were starting to rout, so it was basically the worst moment to die for my commander. But still he was kind of really fresh one, so not skilled. Probably the only minus, or the two minuses: one, he was young, and second, I could use him definitely. It's a heavy cavalry in the end. So at this point I basically only had to defeat the final squad of heavy cavalry. It took a while, it took some losses. I also had to get in my spearmen, and when the enemy captain died, it was all over. Trying to kill a few more troops with my light cavalry, but essentially this army was routed and it was no more, so the peninsula was now safe. The good thing was that I actually got a commander. Sometimes these events occur and it's way more skillful than the previous one. He's also young, so great news for me. And I could continue moving to the next turn.
Your orders, number one. Orders. Your Majesty. Your orders, number one. Your orders, number one. Of course, my lord. Establishing a tireless watch here, lord. Yes. Make camp, men. We rest here. Your orders, number one.
Sometimes I forgot about my diplomat, if he made his moves or not.
Orders. Ready to trade.
My spy in Africa is called Pedro the Clever. So yeah, Pedro is really
I will
clever.
only address you in battle.
And next turn, I saw that the French are moving some troops in. And the Moors are getting back to Africa. Here, this French squad continued its retreat. So at first I started moving my assassin. So usually I build my assassins by killing rebel commanders a few times after they get at least one skill, total 2. And then I try to find unskilled or really low skilled diplomats, and especially in very hard difficulty the AI tends to recruit a lot of diplomats. Here I decided to develop some mining because in most of my regions I had the option to do so, but it wasn't really developed because of my economy. Here I was wondering if I should go and attack this squad, which consisted only cavalry and ballista. Now that I finally knew what it is, I could better decide if I to battle it or not. Meanwhile, I'm observing those French movements in the north. I'm moving those troops from the battle with the English towards Bordeaux. I thought it was going to be a good idea to build a full stack army in Bordeaux and move north, because then I would need to split to an army which to attack the island, the British Islands, and one to continue the conquest on the continent itself. So here I basically love to do all the possible things before moving into the battles of the given turn. Yeah, trying to find my diplomat. Here is a Byzantine army. I went for the captain instead of the faction heir because it's easier. At this point, I decided it's a good moment to start also requesting map information to check how the world has been shaped up on the other end. And I saw that the Byzantine Empire are in a pretty bad situation. Only Nicaea in Asia Minor, not much of a territory in on the Balkans.
Can you not tell friend from foe?
Basically, I have 200 turns to get 35 more regions. Definitely not impossible. I mean, when we get the steamroller going, it's hard to stop us, but I knew that there is a lot of time until we get ready, until we have some full stacks of armies ready to go in all directions. And in Africa especially, the territories are big. Here, the rebels are doing us a favor, defeating British ships. But I don't know if you noticed, in the region of Toulouse, there is another Sicilian army and Papal States army. Now that's really surprising for me because I didn't know that the Papal States can be aggressive. Usually they just sit around Rome, but I guess it's different now.
You are not my liege. Your orders.
Here I combined my troops, started moving north.
Come and fight me, you coward.
Basically at this point I was on the defensive in this area around around France. I was building my army and waiting for me to get attacked, defeat the enemy troops, and then go on the offensive.
Moving in unseen. As you will. There will
So here I had to battle the Moors. I think that the battle was on this turn. Here I'm building some crossbowmen.
Your orders, noble.
They're really awesome, actually. These are the weakest crossbowmen, but they're really strong if you allow them to shoot uninterrupted, and especially from short distance, they're devastating. And the moment has come. Yeah, I did a save before entering battle,
God will be with us,
just to be
men.
sure.
To battle.
The enemy wasn't really like
Be ready to
weak.
for God and
You see, their commander is killed. The main problem for me are always the archers, and especially light cavalry archers, if they have some, and they did had some for the battle. Here I thought that I'm going to deploy on this high ground, because it's really good for archers and ballistas to be on the high ground. And so I placed my heavy infantry, the mercenary spearmen, in the center, and the light spearmen, militia spearmen, on the flanks, the ballistas behind them. So this was a measure just if the enemy decides to come to me. I always prefer to deploy defensively, just in case the enemy tries to come to me. And I placed all my cavalry on the left, but pretty soon I realized that they are not moving a lot from their position, so I had to go get them, and I decided to move entirely on the left flank, which means on their right. So I decided that it's a good idea to lure their light cavalry on the right flank, smash it as soon as possible, and then see how the battle unfolds. Another good option of deploying in the back, so far in the back, is that if the enemy is coming at you, you can retreat even more if you want. So you have the time to use your light cavalry effectively, especially if it's ranged one in the first part of the battle. So the AI tried to match my moves, but it didn't do a really good job, and you see now. So basically their whole army was turning based on the movements of my cavalry, which was I thought in the beginning that it's going to be hard to get them the way I wanted to. But in time I was able to. So I continued to move 2 of my light cavalry squads to the side. I thought, hey, you're probably trying to focus on my heavy cavalry, so I'll continue to move the light cavalry. And I only moved the king into a bit more wider position. And I left my main army, my infantry, pretty much at one place. So I was moving those squads way, basically I was trying to get the back of the enemy light cavalries, and here the enemy decided to move with their own cavalry, and just if it was a full-scale attack, but it wasn't, I enabled the fire at will for my ballistas, and initially I wasn't able to catch them, I think. Oh no, yeah, I was basically going after them, and here I lost a few troops because I wasn't able to get them, and I was getting too close to the main army, so I had to return at this point and try to do that again. But I think the AI did well in this situation. So they only lost 1 horseman while I lost 7. But yeah, still it wasn't really worrying for me. I was still going to try to do my thing here. And as I knew what the enemy is going to do the next time, I was going to be more prepared for it. So see how the enemy is turning here their entire army around my cavalry. Once again, I'm moving those 2 squads behind. And once again, the enemy stopped. And this time I was going to move my light cavalry squads far behind the enemy. And this time there was no chance of them escaping, and I simply got them. And they were routed really quickly because the Spanish cavalry is way better than these Turkomans. And I had to kill that squad. Because in this situation they would just return, so I let my cavalry get them.
Remain true and wholehearted. Victory will be ours.
At this point I also started moving the other 2 squads. So here the enemy started to make movements again. Basically, they didn't stop making movements, I think, from here until the end of the battle. So I made sure that this squad is away from the battlefield. So one of their light cavalry was down, which was great. Now they had a squad of light cavalry moving to this flank, which is legit, but I also had my king here, so I just charged into this light cavalry. And they were devastated, I mean, really, really quickly. I had to defeat them before those spearmen came near my king. So I decided to also attack them from the back. Yeah, I had to disengage. For now. And as I saw that the spearmen decide to follow up, I thought it's a good idea to turn back. And get those spearmen from the side. So here I think I lost some cavalry troops. It was kind of unneeded, and the enemy spearmen were getting a bit bugged because they were spread and they were wavering for far more time than I wanted to. But still, it was an isolated squad of spearmen that I finally defeated, lost some troops. It was unneeded, but yeah, I left my light cavalry, smashed them. And here I was ready to go again. But yeah, the AI was moving really like it was making a lot of changes, so I wasn't able to fully make a decision how to continue with the battle. So I basically waited for a while to see what they're going to do. I tried once again to move in the back of those cavalry squads. Again, some strange attacks with an isolated squad of spearmen. I was definitely trying to get this ranged infantry, and I caught them. But here is the thing. I had to act quickly because they were going to commit the rest of their cavalry. So here I'm smashing the king into their light cavalry on the flank, and I'm moving with the rest of my heavy cavalry, trying to evade their melee troops.
But our men are winning the battle and forging a worthy victory.
Here I was trying to detach my cavalry from the battle because the enemy commander was rushing in. Hopefully I was able to detach because they were charging on the high ground. Once again, as the AI tends to detach from the battle a bit badly. I was able to get some of their cavalry, and once again I retreated. It was a good moment to smash into their javelin men. They were a bit unprotected,
Battle is in our favor.
so
If we
I
remain true
finally
and
got
wholehearted, victory will be
the remaining of my heavy cavalry into action, basically the faction heir, and yeah. I had to go back because their spearmen started to charge just in time. I was able to detach my troops before being caught up by the enemy spearmen. But this also created a good opportunity for me to like get the enemy at their backs. They were trying to respond pretty well. Yeah, the battle was going really well for us. And I decided to move those troops to the other flank. To see if the enemy will stop rearranging like that. And also at this moment I thought it's a good idea to start moving my infantry into a position for a full-scale attack on the enemy. Didn't go exactly as I wanted it to. I didn't form my line exactly pointing at the enemy. The enemy was also moving, so it was good for me. Here I moved in my full squads of light cavalry right at the flank of the enemy spearmen, and they were about to do a lot of damage to the enemy. I love doing that, like stop the skirmish mode and just make devastating attacks from the side of an enemy squad. See a lot of troops dying on the flank. They're already shaken, 1/3 of the squad is gone, and I had to stop my ballista from firing. So you see I was kind of moving in a different direction, charged with all my troops at the enemy. My flank was going to be really strong on the right and on the left. I'm like so deep into the enemy positions. Here I saw that their heavy cavalry is charging, so I had to pull back. It was done really well. but I also decided that it's time to go. For the enemy commander, I was going at him with full force from all sides. Here I engaged with the king from the back with those light cavalry squads. Also get those light cavalries from the back to attack their light cavalry. Of course, after defeating this squad, and here I finally moved in my heavy cavalry on the flank, which I forgot about. Totally.
Battle is in our favor. If we remain true and wholehearted, victory will be ours.
And at this moment, it was a matter of time for when their commander will die and I will essentially win the battle. As you can see, they're crumbling. I didn't lose a lot of infantry because the enemy was routed really quickly. And here it's just a matter of time when the enemy commander is going to die and the battle to be just over. I mean, it's over at this point, but
The enemy are badly blooded. They have lost half their men.
and here it is. The enemy commander is dead. Pretty much the battle is over and we just go to kill as many troops as possible. Yeah, it's just a massacre at this point. I think in the previous versions of the game it was far more easier to enhance the dread skill compared to chivalry. But in this version it's kind of strange. Sometimes I kill, yeah, you see a clear victory. Sometimes I kill a lot of troops and I get chivalry for it. Execute, of course, and the whole army is just gone. And Marrakesh is open for grabs. I'm moving the spy in the other direction to check the movements of the newer Moorish armies.
Okay? Sorry. I must remain vigilant.
Begone! You are not my liege!
Your orders, noble one.
Come and fight me, you coward! An honor. On my way.
Is there something I can do for you?
Here I decided it's a good thing to also get map information from the Hungarians. Finally my diplomat started getting some skills.
Today's journey ends.
Your orders, noble one. Your orders, noble one.
Next turn I forgot to move my assassin and he didn't do the job on the first attempt. At least he's not dead. I don't know what these armies are waiting for in Toulouse. Finally some movement. Once again, thanks to the rebels, my coast is clear. Yeah. New commander, awesome. Another attempt for my assassin, another miss. The good thing is that they either die or they remain at one skill. Here Sicily declared war on me, but I didn't realize that at this point, but doesn't matter anyway. Here I clicked siege just because I wanted to make a few more things before capturing the Moorish capital. Yeah, the farmies. They're not going to be defeated easily. Here I finally realized that Sicily has renewed the war. And yeah, I was going to wait for one more turn before getting finally attacked at Toulouse. I was wondering if I should go for the castle upgrade, which would enable me to get the good heavy infantry, basically dismounted Feldon Knights, which is the best infantry that I could have at this point, but I decided to build up my economy a little bit better before moving with this upgrade in Toulouse. And here the enemy Sultan was going to be killed in its own capital. At this point I wasn't sure how many territories left the Moors have. So yeah, here I saw that the enemy actually has their town militia squad on the top of the wall. So I decided to go for it, but unfortunately my ballistas, the position of my ballistas was really not that great, and after the first salvo I had to move them in a better position. Here of course moving my cavalry away from the ballistas because the friendly fire is really dangerous. When I was still learning the game, I once killed my king with a cannon, actually. Here, yeah, I saw only one of the arrows hit the wall, only 4% damage, so I had to reposition my ballistas. They're actually my favorite siege weapons before the cannons. I mean, the AI doesn't upgrade their walls that much, so you can play with ballistas up to really late, up until the cannons. Probably at some point it would be good to get some catapults just to destroy more towers, because for the ballista it would always be easy to destroy the gate itself, but if the AI upgrades the walls, it's really hard to destroy a wall or to destroy a tower, and sometimes I love to destroy a lot of towers because I hate them doing damage to my troops as I assault the enemy. So here I saw that the enemy wasn't going to retreat with their militia, so I decided to rush in with the cavalry, and if the Sultan decided to come, to also engage him into battle, I started moving some spearmen and repositioned my ballistas at a position to properly destroy the enemy gate. So I rushed in my cavalry, and when I saw that they aren't going to move, I started moving in my own spearmen, of course, the militia spearmen, because they will be able to be replenished after I capture the city, while I had to keep my heavy mercenary spearmen at full strength for the battles to come. So here I positioned those two squads near the gate so they don't get attacked by the ballista, and positioned this squad in a position to attack the enemy town militia. And these were basically the troops who were going to get me this city. I didn't need my light cavalry at all. Just in case, I moved in some closer. Yeah, I decided to go in for a volley before engaging them in a melee. Here the gate is almost down, moving in my light cavalry for a single salvo. It's really funny sometimes how when the gate gets a little bit destroyed, it opens up and some of the bolts of the ballista is getting through the gate itself and don't do damage to it. Here basically I lost a few light cavalry units because the enemy activated the tower, and at this point I decided that I had to kill this squad quickly, so I rushed my heavy cavalry in. It wasn't the best decision, I know, but I think that the town militia don't have any bonus against cavalry, so this is town militia, not spear militia, so it was fine. And at this moment I decided to start preparing my attack on the enemy sultan. So this squad right there was going to continue on the right, and I was going to split the remaining two squads to attack from two different directions. This way I was able to do the most damage at once. I love taking my time when I'm capturing an enemy city, because it could get really costly. I think it's best to explore the other pathways and I mean, attack the enemy from many positions as possible. Sometimes you saw me in one of the battles against the
Only
Portuguese
half the
to
enemy force remains.
launch even ballista attacks at the enemy. You have to attack them with something range to lure them out. But this time I wasn't trying to lure out their sultan. I was simply trying to get their sultan from all possible directions. So my king was going in the center. I was going with a spear squad from all directions. Here I'm speeding up a little bit, getting my troops into position. Sometimes when you're trying to control multiple cavalry squads into the narrow city, they tend to don't understand the command exactly right. But I was able to catch my error in time. Here I was wondering where is the other cavalry going, but it was going through the center. Once again, I tried to form up, especially with infantry squads, because when they rush in through the narrow streets, they break their formation. And in this case, I would like them to be as spread as possible because we are attacking. If we are guarding against cavalry, yes, we have to be stacked with all the spears up front, maybe guard mode, but in this case we are attacking, so we want to get the enemy from the best possible position. Here the enemy cavalry is like strangely moving, but in time they are all engaged in combat. And yeah, it was over at the start of the battle, and at this point is it's just like in the previous battle, waiting for the enemy commander to die.
The enemy king is slain.
And
Well,
there he is.
but no less dead for that. We must press our advantage. This is a clear victory that goes to only...
Clear victory.
God has granted his
We
faithful
took the
this
Moorish
victory.
capital. I decided to sack it because I was getting the most gold for doing so. A small church, of course. Our cardinal is moving into position. Here I wanted to go out with one of the commanders to build a watchtower, but I'm not sure if I did that in this part.
Your orders, noble one.
Yeah, I did that in this part. I saw that there is an enemy assassin, but he isn't really that big of a deal, so we shouldn't be that worried about him. At this point it was going to be interesting how to continue with this army, because the distances are way bigger in Africa.
Noble lord, on my way. Today's journey
Moving my diplomat to the Turks, but pretty much it was that for this episode.
Of course, I will only address you in
Final
battle.
moves. I'm definitely going to be attacked on the next turn. And that's it.